Hey cats, what's happening? Temperature today here. We're pushing 100 degrees there on the old school thermometer in the man cave. So pretty warm. In fact, it was over 100 until I opened up the doors here and got a breeze going through here. So it's slowly taking the temperature down in here a little bit with some air moving through. That's a good thing. My topic for today are biker superstitions. Are you the superstitious type? You gotta throw salt over your shoulder, take all kinds of precautions just to keep yourself safe. Well, there's a lot of biker superstitions going around too, and I'm gonna touch on a few of those today, see if you've heard of them or not. And as for me, I'm not a superstitious person. Still, I find them interesting, and I might take heed to some of them. Now, the first superstition is this: as goes your helmet, so goes your head. In other words, you drop your helmet, the superstition is your head's going to hit the ground too. Now, you could take it a couple different ways. If you were to drop your helmet from a pretty good distance, there's a possibility that it could put some kind of a crack or something in it that could break down the integrity of the helmet, which would make it unsafe. But in most cases, these helmets are meant to take a little bit of a beating, and if you dropped it on the ground, it certainly wouldn't do anything to damage the helmet other than maybe put a little nick in it here or there. And my helmet's got a few dents and nicks in it, probably just from being strapped to the back of the bike and having bungee cords around it and stuff, because I didn't always wear it, especially in this kind of hot weather. I usually prefer to go without a bucket on. So as the superstition goes, if you drop your helmet, you replace it. You just go out and buy a new one. Well, if you're fumble fingers, that could get pretty expensive, especially if you're spending money on a helmet that's worth the money. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. It's a superstition, for Pete's sake. And if you drop your helmet, brush the dirt off of it, check it for damage, and move on with your life. Now here's an interesting one, and it is about the guardian bell. If we'll get down here, and we're going to look underneath my bike, and look, there's a bell hanging from the frame right underneath my motor. The superstition behind that is that the guardian bell is on your Harley or your motorcycle to ward off evil spirits that you may pick up along the road. The superstition goes that there's evil spirits out there on the road, on the highway. And as you ride down the highway, they can jump onto your bike. Well, those evil spirits hear that bell ringing underneath the bike, and it perks their curiosity, so they go down and they get trapped inside the bell, which confuses them, drives them crazy with the ringing, and they drop back onto the road and they're gone forever. That's the superstition behind that. It's called the guardian bell. Now, for this guardian bell to work right, it's supposed to be gifted to you by another biker. So perhaps if you got somebody you like that rides, a good friend, you may want to stop somewhere, pick up a guardian bell for them, and just hand it to them as a gift. Maybe they'll return the favor to you and get you a guardian bell as well. Hang it on your bike somewhere. Now, the other thing about that was that guardian bells used to be hung on the left side of the swing arm under the bike. And that was to designate, each bell was to designate a loved biker that had lost his life in a motorcycle accident. And that would be done to commemorate him or her. by hanging a bell on your swing arm under your bike. I have not heard of anybody ever doing that, nor have I ever seen bells hung from a swing arm before. Maybe you have. A lot of guys just have the bells hanging under their bike. Now, you would ask me, do you hear that bell ringing when you're going down the road? Does it make a lot of noise? No, in fact, I completely forget that it's there 99.9% of the time. I hung it there years ago. Actually, I had one that was given to me a long, long time ago, and somehow it got lost. And I'm not sure how that happened, but it disappeared from underneath the bike, and so I just replaced it with a new one because I don't have any friends nice enough to give me a bell. No, I just don't think it's on the mind of most people, but keep that in mind. If you got a biker buddy, a guardian bell might be a pretty good gift for him. Here's another thing to think about. Do you ride with your passenger pegs down, or do you fold them up when you're riding solo? It's said that if you leave your passenger pegs down, the superstition is that an evil spirit will see those pegs down, nobody riding on a passenger seat, and they'll leap on there and take advantage of that situation. I don't believe in that superstition at all. My wife likes to ride with me a lot, and the pegs are down quite a bit, and I don't always remember to put them up, and I haven't had any problems with evil spirits leaping on the back to go for a ride because my foot pegs are down either. Now, there's kind of a conflict with that story too, because when you are riding your motorcycle in a funeral procession for a lost biker, you want your foot pegs down. And what that does is it encourages the spirit of that lost biker to be able to take that last ride with you and rest their feet on your foot pegs. So that superstition there about keeping your foot pegs folded up when you're riding solo, there's conflicting stories about that. So I wouldn't myself hold a grain of salt to that one either. Now there's another weird superstition about green motorcycles. And it used to be believed that if you had a green motorcycle, ooh, bad luck to have a green motorcycle. Why was that? It was said that if you had a green motorcycle, you were probably going to go down because most people that had green motorcycles ended up dying. That fact can't even be proven one way or the other. In fact, I think it came more from the prospect that during World War II, when the soldiers were riding the military Harley Davidsons or motorcycles that were, the khaki green color, they were getting taken out, and most of those were delivering messages back and forth to the different troops, and some of those guys were taken out by snipers or whatever, and of course they rode the green motorcycles. So I think that's kind of where that originated from, was like, hey, don't ride a green motorcycle or your chances of dying are way up there. Not true anymore. As a matter of fact, the Kawasaki motorcycle company, what's the color of a lot of their like dirt bikes and stuff, are green, and they've been very successful, and a lot of guys have won races on Kawasaki's and been very successful with them. So that superstition doesn't really hold true either. Now there's one other superstition that I'm going to talk about right now, and I think it's just more common sense than it is a superstition. Stopping to help other motorcyclists when you see them broke down on the side of the road. If you were to stop and help another biker, it can bring good luck to you. That biker may return the favor to you someday. If you pass by another motorcycle that's broke down on the side of the road and you just keep going and ignore him, what this superstition basically says is karma. What goes around comes around. So in other words, if you don't stop to help that biker, Someday you're going to be broke down on the side of the road and nobody's going to come to help you either. So if you're a biker, you're out on the road, and you know what, it doesn't matter at your skill level. You don't have to have a fear like, oh, I don't know how to work on a motorcycle, I can't help him. It could be just something as simple as letting him use your cell phone, or having him give you a message to pass on to the next service station or something to send help back to pick him up. You don't have to be skilled to do that. So, help can go a long ways. And sometimes they may not even need help, but it's just good to stop and check and let them know that you care about a fellow biker. So those are my superstition stories today about motorcycling. If you have a superstition or something, share it below in the comments. Always look forward to reading your comments and the stream that follows those. There's kind of a community going on here, and we like to discuss things and argue too about some points. Nothing wrong with that. That's what it's all about, guys. Subscribe to the videos. Like to have you on board. And until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.